Great to see everyone. It's been a while. I think at least when Will and I were in here last time, it was after he was named the next manager of the Chicago White Sox. And, now that, we've worked deeper into the offseason, Will and I have, worked even closer together along with the staff in preparation for spring training, which is right around the corner. And we look forward to getting out there, seeing some of the new talent that we've acquired. Seeing them in a White Sox uniform is exciting for us. In addition to other players that we've had within the White Sox, and to be able to have everyone in one place is certainly something to look forward to. I know we've got a lot ahead of us. Will and the staff have done a tremendous job in preparation for spring training. And I look forward to watch everyone kind of go to work. In regards to some of the talent that we've brought in, I saw today that we've got the two top left-handed pitchers in the minor leagues, and Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith. Certainly a glimpse into the future, and it's going to be great to have them in Major League camp and get to work with other teammates and Will and the staff, and look forward to getting their season off to the right foot. We're going to have a lot of competition. There's I know Will's working on being creative, putting together an environment for these guys to get excited to show up and show us what they're capable of doing. So happy to be here and look forward to spending some more time with some of our players that are here at Sox Fest.
Yeah, hi guys. Good to see you guys too. Since some of us had breakfast at the winter meetings, just give you a quick update on kind of what we've been doing on my end. And certainly, as Getz mentioned, it's been a great off season here, continuing to work and build our working relationship. With our staff, we've been really productive. Happy with our progress as far as creating our tools that we're going to use in season. Everything from game planning tools, in-game decision-making tools, our game review stuff, and really putting some things into place. It's been amazing effort from our support staff, the R&D department, and just really impressed with the work that has been going on. We've also kind of, identified our objective for spring training, which has been great, and really excited about that and some of the things that we want to accomplish in each department, and really ironing out our messaging, what some of our drills will look like, kind of how we're going to support these guys to be at their best during camp. And I've also had more in-depth conversations with the players, which has been really exciting for me, and just talking more about their personal goals. And, the one thing, Getz mentioned competition, and the thing that you hear across the board with our players is their excitement for the opportunity that this year and this spring training is going to present for them. And, having been in those shoes myself going into a camp, happy and excited about the opportunity that I have. I know that can create a really competitive environment. That's something that we're excited about and want to lean into. And then it's on us to create a schedule and a kind of a daily flow that can support that. And we're really excited about that, to be able to challenge these guys and what they do in camp, and to kind of really facilitate that competitive environment for our guys. So certainly excited about the progress that has been made, and know we have a couple more weeks here to dial in some details, but we're excited to get going.
Talk show segment. Chris, just comparing this time last year to where we are now, regardless of the results on the field, what gives you the sense that things are going forward, that you're making the progress that you want to see with this team, with this organization?
Well, I think the most obvious thing is where our farm system is currently and where it was a year ago. We were fortunate to make some really, we feel like, smart acquisitions. Obviously, the Garrett Crochet deal got the most attention, but beyond that, this past draft, along with this most recent international, signings. And, from the beginning, I've been very committed to, building the foundational pieces of the organization. And, I think we're at the point where, we've got really some tangible things to point to. I've talked about it before where, going through the interview process, I'm not so sure, Will joins the Chicago White Sox a year ago based on where things were, but because we were so committed in improving so many different processes throughout the organization, Will obviously was comfortable to join in, believes in the vision of that we have. But, beyond that, I'm really proud of what Will has done with our staff and connecting with our players so far. And now we're getting a chance to go to work out in Arizona. But the talent pool has really improved. Obviously, we're going to look to develop the talent and continue to add. And hopefully some special things happen fairly quickly.
Will, what is kind of the overall objective in this first spring training week?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things. I mean, first of all, we have to, support our players in accomplishing the things that they need to accomplish to get better on a daily basis. I think spring training is a great opportunity to, really get into the weeds on those things and, help these guys build their routines that we know are going to carry them throughout the season and, help them be at their best, an opportunity for guys to connect, on the field, off the field, and then build that camaraderie that we know that also is going to be a carrier for us through the adversity of the season. And accomplish the things we need to do as a unit, on the field and executing team fundamentals and really defining those. So, in all those areas, we're excited to get to work.
We're certainly, and I'm sure Will can echo this. I mean, we're looking to win baseball games. We are. I think we all know that winning is part of the development process. Now, with a young developing roster, there's going to be moments where you got to take a step back and think, bigger picture, long term, what's best for them to reach their ceilings as players. That's going to be a clear message. It has been and will to our coaching staff and front office that there are going to be some growing pains along the way. We felt some of those growing pains last year with some of the players that came up to the major leagues, but we feel like they're going to be in better position this year and more comfortable to perform, at a higher level. But when it comes to wins and losses at the major league level, we're going to do everything we can to put our players in a position to have success, and wins will come our way because of that.
I think that I've learned these last few years that regardless of, where your team is at, individually with guys in their career or collectively as a group, really honing in on the simplicity of the things in this game that we can control is something that is important for everybody. And that's what we're going to focus on are the things in each department that are key to performing well. And there'll be the same things that we talk about next year, and that we believe are kind of time tested in this game. And so we're looking forward to rolling those things out and addressing those things in spring training, and also creating space throughout the year to address them as well.
For both you and we're always talking about coming off the last year, and obviously so my question would be what does a successful 25 look like? And I want to get both your takes because you're new. And Chris, you were here last year. What does a successful 25 look like?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for our players, both individually as a team to make steps forward. Now, sometimes it's going to show up with wins. Sometimes it's going to show up with losses. And that's just this part of the game. But it's truly understanding, each player, what they need to do to be successful at the major league level. And certainly, it's playing together and understanding what it takes to win baseball games. There are going to be moments where, you get frustrated, but, that's where, Will and the staff come in and take advantage of those teaching moments for these players to progress at the major league level. So, there's certainly a lot of different ways to measure, success in this upcoming season. We've got new players of the organization. We've got players that'll be reaching the major leagues for the first time in their career. So, we're set out to create an environment for these guys to be comfortable and going out there and executing.
Yeah, and similar for me, it's about, supporting these players being at their best. And I think, the continued development of individual players is important and critical measure of our success. I think at the same time, collectively, whatever happens this year, I think we want to be able to look back and, we ask ourselves, did we play, with effort and compete every day? We want to be able to say yes. And I think that's a really, a critical expectation for us to set early and be honest with ourselves as we go through the season.
It's a message that, I've really said from the beginning, that, taking on, this role, and really focusing on improving so many different areas of the organization. And, I realize that fans, may not be stimulated by hearing about infrastructure growth and building a new academy in the Dominican Republic and refining different areas of the organization because they want to see wins at the major league level. And I understand that. But just like when you're building a business, it's going to take time for you to be as productive as you'd like to be. And, our group here in the front office and the staff, they understand where we're at now. For our fans, we've got a really talented group that's coming. And, I talk about, Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith and Colson Montgomery and Kyle Teal and Edgar Caro. You look around and you can start seeing some long-term pieces for a really competitive team. And to be able to watch these guys take another step forward towards establishing themselves as productive major league players this year, I think is something to be excited about. At the end of the day, that it needs to start happening. But I hope our fans at some point understand that this is going to pay off long term, and us being very committed and disciplined is going to serve us well in the future. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of opportunity come spring training, and we're going to we expect to see Colson Montgomery playing shortstop for the White Sox this year at some point. Now, he's a guy that has continued to improve defensively. What he did in August and September in the fall league, he made some real material changes to cover certain pitches and getting back to the player that we had seen, throughout the minor leagues. So, he's going to get a shot to make the club. Now we've got other players on the roster that are going to compete for the shortstop for shortstop opportunities. Chase Mydrow's got a history at shortstop. Josh Rojas has got some history at shortstop. Baldwin is another one. So we've got a fair amount of versatility for good reason. But I think we're all looking forward to watching Colson get to work here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, in the past, I haven't had as much, involvement in building some of those tools, or at least, being part of that process, which has been great. Having a deeper understanding of what goes into it, and also, developing that working relationship with everybody involved, which has been great. And then as far as spring training, for the last 4 years, I've been the one creating the schedule on a daily basis and split that responsibility in Texas. But, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that, and kind of being the carrier of the schedule, which has been nice not to be that guy this year. But kind of overseeing, Drew Butera, who's kind of taking the lead on the scheduling stuff, has been great, and he's done a great job. Really happy with where we're at going into it. But really, it's just been about making sure that our staff is getting everything that they need. I think that's the one critical thing about spring training is you have a lot of people who have different needs, and you have to be sensitive to those. And so that's something that Drew and I have, been mindful of and trying to piece together.
Well, just what's the best piece of advice you've received since you've been on depth?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think, I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of different managers across the league, certainly at the winter meetings. But, these guys have done a great job just reaching out and touching base and offered, support. And so through those conversations, I think, really it's just been about, the added effort you need to have to touch base with certain people. That as things will naturally speed up, and as we get into the flow of things, my energy and my time will be spread out a lot of different places. And I think kind of the overarching message I got from a lot of these guys is make sure that you're prioritizing your time in the right way, which is something that I've appreciated and really kind of been across the board, the message that I've heard.
Chris, just as far as like some of the off-season signings, has there been any particular theme that you wanted to address, either like Eddie Perez or Eddie Rojas?
Sure. Yeah. Martin, he's had an impressive career. I remember facing him, and he's still pitching, and obviously my position has changed, but he's a guy, he's got such a strong reputation throughout our game of someone that's professional, takes the ball, and with so many young arms that are in our organization right now, and it's just comforting to bring in a Martin Perez for a lot of different reasons, both for younger players to watch him go to work, but also provide productive innings for us. Certainly that's the hope. So that was the thought process behind signing Martin, and Rojas. He was a player that he had so many different options to sign, and he wanted to sign here candidly because he saw opportunity. He did, and he's versatile, but he's really developed into a strong defender, and that there's a guy that has made such strides at the major league level as a defender, and to have him in our clubhouse with other players as well as they break into the major leagues is big. But this is a guy that is determined to match what he's done in the past from an offensive standpoint. He's obviously become this strong defender. He can play second, third, short, wings of the outfield. So yeah, we were pumped, really pumped to bring Josh in for a lot of different reasons. And then we've made some, bullpen acquisitions along the way too, to create depth and strengthen that group. So, very intentional on the types of people and players that we're bringing in. But most importantly, we think that they're going to be productive, for the White Sox this year. Yeah, I think we've done most of the heavy lifting. I would say for adding to the roster or making adjustments to the roster. With that being said, the offseason's still here. You look out there with the amount of free agents that are still available. There's a possibility for an addition here and there, but for the most part, we feel like we've got our roster. It's just a matter of getting to spring training and prepping for opening day. But we're continuing to monitor things because that's our job to do so. I think, more so don't want to focus on the aesthetics more. And I think it's smarter to figure out how do we win baseball games. So if that means that, we need to get creative on how we deploy some of our relievers at certain times during the game, then so be it. I think we all, can appreciate a pitcher that can go deeper into the game. Now, with that being said, we need that pitcher to be productive. And sometimes, you look up and you've got an arm that's third time through the order or could be the second time through the order. And we're better off going to someone else. So, to leverage that situation for the White Sox favor. So, you look at the minor league level and building pitchers up. Noah Schultz, for example, he met the 90 inning threshold last year. It's taken some time because we were talking about a high school kid from a cold climate, didn't have a lot of innings under his belt, and we wanted to get him through a full season and make his starts, and we were able to accomplish that. And now it's to get him on more of a starter's routine that would mirror what he would do at the major league level. And, being able to go deeper into games, really comes down to efficiency. The nice thing about, Jonathan Cannon, and Noah and Hagen, they've got multiple weapons. And that's really what it comes down to. You've got weapons that, you can attack a guy, one way this at bat, and then the next one, if you need to get soft early contact, get a double play, they've got the ability to do that. So it really comes down to be able to hone and develop those skills to be able to get outs deeper into the game. So do we value that? Of course, but most importantly, it's about getting outs. It did not. It did not. We put together a presentation, and we were certainly hoping to get an in-person meeting, but they decided to go a different direction to handle the interview process without the White Sox. Yeah, so they will be at Major League Camp. They're guys that two pitchers that clearly are vital to the success of our organization. We want to handle them appropriately. We talked about Noah and what some of our goals are kind of in this upcoming season in regards to mirroring a more of a major league schedule. But being around a Martin Perez and a outside of just pitchers, talk about a Josh Rojas, some guys that could really help these guys when the time is right for them to transition to the major league level. So beyond just Hagen and Noah, we've got some others that are on the non-roster invite list that are here to be around some other, major league players, but a peer group of prospects, but to start building a stronger rapport with our coaching staff, with an Ethan Katz or a Marcus, Will and Walker and just the staff. And so when that time comes for them to come up and help us at the major league level, they're comfortable. They can go in. They know what everyone looks like. They know perhaps some of their, teaching cues. So there's a lot that goes into why we bring certain players to major league camp. And that's why we will, as the list goes out, it'll make a little bit more sense tomorrow. I would say probably a different style. Now to Bruce's question about going deeper into games, maybe we have Mark talk to a lot of our pitchers, but Mark would look pretty good next to those other lefties as well. It's tough to tell. I mean, we're open-minded. We're not looking to move anyone. With that being said, there are other teams that are, working through free agent process perhaps. And there could be some opportunities to have dialogue. So, we do feel like, the majority of our moves have been made. But with that being said, we're not quite there yet. And, look forward to really getting this group together out in Arizona. Yeah, I think that they're, naturally, as you go through, the full cycle of being a general manager for the first time, the 12-month cycle, perhaps you can anticipate what's going to happen a little bit better. There's only one way to do that, is that, going through it for the first time. So, this, past year, building rapport with other general managers to have perhaps easier dialogue for a trade acquisition, agent relationships. So, I think more than anything, I'm much more comfortable because of the infrastructure that we've created thus far and the determination to continue to improve that. I really enjoy our major league coaching staff, and I think working with them on a regular basis is something that I'm looking forward to and excited to do out in Arizona shortly. So. Perhaps a little bit more comfortable, but more importantly, I coming to work each day and knowing what to expect, I think is nice to have. Yeah, I hope we reach a point where we're not looking to make trades on a regular basis. Hope that it gets to a point where that's not. We've got other avenues to bring in talent than the trade market. That was just the reality of where we were at as an organization to build up our farm system. We clearly need talent to be productive at the major league level. I know it's not easy for players to read their names, hear their names on trade rumors or so I'm very mindful of that, but most importantly, I got to do what's best for the Chicago White Sox. But the fan engagement, knowing who you're going to be watching at shortstop or center field or starting tonight, I value that. I think it's really important for our game, not just for the White Sox. We're just not quite there yet. To be able to kind of solidify that. So, whether it be Dylan Cease and Garrett Crochet and other players that we've moved, those players are fan favorites. But that's all. The reason they're fan favorites is because they're really good major league players, and attractive to other clubs as well. So got to do what's best for the organization. But I without question, understand the importance of having a connection with your team.
I think we talked about it, our effort and going out there and competing. I mean, that's going to be something that we talk about from day one, and we have an expectation for and hold guys accountable to, and hope that that's synonymous with the White Sox and who we are and part of our identity. I think, off the field, also in how we prepare and the things that we do as far as game planning and using information and reviewing our performance and, developing, off the field is important too. And that's something, especially with the young group, that we want to support. And certainly even with some of our veteran guys that we want to take steps forward with too. So, I think in both those areas, we're expecting to have that be part of who we are. Yeah, I think that's, organic, and I'm still learning these guys. And, a lot of these guys I haven't seen play. And I think that, that is something that we start to develop on the field in camp. Certainly there's things that we know we want to do, specifically. But I think that it's dependent on our skill set and these guys and how we show up and how we, complement each other on the field. So, we'll continue to talk about those things and define it as we go. Yeah, I think, there's things that, we can do as far as supporting them in kind of our daily flow of spring training and how we set up, our meeting times, what work looks like on the field. I've been on the phone with Benny and Bonnie, and we talked about, some of the specifics of these things. So we're making sure that, having an understanding of the last couple camps and kind of some of the things that, they want to do, and that are important to them. We'll make sure that we're putting into place and doing the best thing for our group. So, there's a lot of different components of putting together an efficient, camp, and certainly, those guys' opinions and what works for them matters.
Sure. Well, for one, when we hired Will, he has such a strong reputation in this game. And oftentimes, we'll have Will, call a guy, meet with a guy, and we'll have, a group of coaches, spend time with them. And I feel like it worked in our favor very often because Will demonstrates it. I think others do throughout our organization of, we're very honest. Honest about where we currently are, where we want to go, what we might find something that we feel like we can improve. You bring a Brian Bannister in the door, a Ryan Fuller, some of these other coaches, players, view this not only for, they may have adjustments that need to be made, but they need opportunity for them to show what they're capable of doing. So, having talent on the coaching staff, talent in the front office with opportunity, I feel like has worked in our favor in a lot of those conversations. Yes. Yeah. I mean, every conversation we have with a pitcher or a hitter, we've got our assessment. Obviously, you want to listen to the player where they feel like they are at. I'd say 9 times out of the 10, they're looking to improve. So they ask for, feedback from us. And, it's one of the cooler moments of being in this position, in this job of, showing a pathway to improvement for these guys. And, whether it be a Banny, a Fuller, and Will and a lot of the staff members that we have here, there's a track record of success and continuing to develop players. And although, last year, obviously from a win and loss standpoint, no one was proud of that. There were some real improvements that players made. Garrett Crochet being an obvious one, being able to find an Eric Fetty the way that we did and putting him in a position to success. Michael Kopech, how he had finished, his 2023 season, to get him back on track as a major league player. So, there's track record. There's an ability to really map out and communicate how to get players better. That's certainly part of our acquisition process. We don't. The top priority right now is putting together the best roster that we can come opening day. What's best for our players from a development standpoint? How do we put these players in position to have success for not only 2025 but for their careers? Win and loss record is vital to the success of an organization without question, but we also know where we're at right now. And wins will come if we go about, the development of our players. We put them in a position for success, and you go out there and execute. Wins will come. Injuries unfortunately are part of the game. So sometimes you've got players that are a little bit higher risk than others. You've got to monitor their workload. You got to make sure they're recovering properly. And that comes with, resting post game, their preparation for the next game. It's sleep, it's nutrition. It's continuing to have those conversations with players, hold them accountable. And truly just get player buy-in as well. So, and that really, it's not just, the strength and conditioning group or a nutritionist or trainers or doctors. It's everyone. It is. It's part of being a professional baseball player that you've got to put yourself in a position to stay healthy and be productive. And it's truly a group effort. So, you've got to be collaborative on it. I know Will and the staff, they prioritize keeping these guys healthy to be productive. So I do feel like we're in a good position. Obviously, we've got some newer players. We're learning how they are going to respond with the workloads of our game, and it's our job to make adjustments if need be.